Alright, so this anime starts with a guy named Ittoki. He's in class, just staring out the window. One of his friends says he's sleeping, so his teacher makes him go up to the board. He tries a math problem, but gets it all wrong, and then everyone just laughs at him. After class, that same friend and two others ask Ittoki to go karaoke. He actually wants to, but he tells them he has classes. They call him a spoilsport, saying he always has classes. Ittoki asks them to get it, saying he really wants to hang out. He tells them he hits the gym 6 times a week and does gymnastics 3 times a week. Plus, he swims and does judo weekly. He even talked his mom, Yumika, into letting him stop flower arranging and dance lessons. His friends joke about him being a clan heir. He says no way, he's just a shop owner's kid, not rich at all. A girl nearby is listening in on their talk. Later, in the locker room, his friends keep bugging him to go karaoke. They say he needs good memories before high school is over, so they finally talk him into it. Ittoki decides to go, but then he sees Kusetsu, his bodyguard, watching everything. He changes his mind right away. After that, Ittoki walks home and he sees Kusetsu following him. He's annoyed, so he tells her to walk beside him. She says there's no reason for that. Kusetsu just says she's making sure he doesn't ditch class. She tells him to ignore her. He gets even more annoyed, saying she's only doing it because his mom told her to. But she replies that if they weren't childhood friends, she wouldn't do it at all. Then Ittoki remembers his gym teacher. The teacher had told him to keep training hard, saying that once he starts high school, he could compete at a much higher level. The teacher knew it was a quick decision, and Ittoki would need to talk to his family, but he was sure Ittoki would do great. Back to now, Ittoki is late for the gym. He takes a shortcut jumping over house walls. Suddenly, a car speeds right at him, but he dodges it really well, even doing a flip. After that, he worries about the driver and yells for an ambulance. And guess what? That girl who was spying earlier is still watching him. Next, we meet Takasada Kaga. He works at Yumika's store. An angry customer complains she found a bug in her lettuce. Yumika says Takasada isn't good with customers, telling other workers that some folks are good at certain things, bad at others. Then she sends him off to pick up Ittoki. So Ittoki gets in the car and says sorry for being late. Takasada tells him to get his driver's license, but Ittoki says he doesn't need one. Takasada says it was clearly his mom's order, and she gets annoyed picking him up all the time. On the way home, Takasada hears Ittoki almost got hit by a runaway van. Takasada is surprised and finds it amazing that Ittoki still went to the gym after that. Later, Yumika gets home, and Ittoki sees she's tired. He offers to help make dinner. We see a photo of his dad, so we know his father passed away. While Ittoki cuts veggies, Yumika says a complaining customer wasted her time. Ittoki tells her he'll get a job when he starts high school to help with money. But Yumika says he doesn't need to worry, he still has money from his father's insurance. She says if he wants to quit school, he should enjoy his youth. But then she quickly adds that youth ends, but education lasts forever, so he should keep going to all his classes. The next day, Ittoki walks to school and gets annoyed seeing Kusetsu following him again. He complains she acts like he's the center of the world. Kusetsu shoots back that he thinks he's too important, and that's why he bothers everyone. At school, Ittoki finds a love letter in his locker. He spends all day wondering about the person, since they clearly asked him out. After school, he meets the girl who wrote the letter. She blushes and says her name is Satomi Tsubaki. Ittoki starts to tell her his name, but she stops him. She says she already knew, and that she watches him all the time. She starts praising him, saying he's popular and really smart, but Ittoki denies all of it, saying none of what she said is true. She also says she saw him dodge that runaway van yesterday and thought it was amazing. Then, she suddenly asks him to go out on Sunday, and Ittoki yells out nervously. So, Ittoki lies to his mom Yumika. He says he's going to a school meeting with a friend on Sunday and asks to skip gym. But Yumika knows he's lying. She asks if he has a girlfriend or something, which embarrasses Ittoki a lot. At dinner, Yumika asks tons of questions about Satomi, wanting to make sure she's a good girl for him. Ittoki finally admits this is his first date offer, feeling like his youth is finally starting, but Yumika won't let him go, saying he can't go out with someone he barely knows. Annoyed, Ittoki stands up from the table, saying he's fed up with everything. Later, in his room, he gets a text from Satomi saying she's excited for their Sunday date. Even without permission, Ittoki decides to go against his mom. He's super nervous when he meets the girl, asking what she wants to do or where to go, but Satomi surprisingly suggests they just go to her house. So, Ittoki is in her room, totally confused. Satomi comes in with 2 iced teas, making him even more tense. They sit on the bed in an awkward quiet. Suddenly, Satomi takes off her clothes and throws herself on him. She asks if he doesn't like her, but Ittoki says no. He just wants her to get dressed. Satomi says she loves him and goes to kiss him, but Ittoki pushes her aside. He explains he's not ready for that. They barely know each other. He starts thinking it's all a trick, like someone's about to jump out and say he fell for it. He looks under the bed and, surprise, finds a man in a ninja suit. The man cuts his face, and Satomi pulls out a knife. She praises Ittoki for moving so fast and avoiding the stab. More ninjas show up and attack Ittoki. He's still confused, thinking it's all a joke. But then Satomi tells him to get ready to die, and suddenly Kusetsu appears, saving him. Kusetsu tells him to jump out the window. Ittoki has no choice but to jump. He falls onto a special fabric with camouflage tech, turning him invisible. Then he's put into a car that speeds away. Ittoki is desperate, begging for his life, not understanding anything. But when he opens his eyes, he sees Ryo and calms down. Mitsuzu, who's driving, is also familiar. They both work at his mom's shop. Ittoki asks where Kusetsu is, and Mitsuzu says she's fine, but Ittoki is the target. They need to get him to a safe place. But then enemies throw sharp spikes at the car, busting the tires. The car flips, and Ittoki passes out. When he wakes up, Ryo tells him to run back to the city, saying they'll handle the ninjas. Ittoki runs for hours, until he hits a quiet street. Suddenly, all the city lights go out. A police officer shows up, and Ittoki explains everything, but the officer doesn't believe him. He tells Ittoki to calm down, saying the power outage is just a transformer issue. Ittoki sighs, relieved he found someone to help, but then an enemy appears, hits him, and he crashes into a wall. The attackers tie him up and cover his mouth so he can't scream. On the ground, his eyes fill with tears, thinking this is the end. But right then, Takasada appears, smoking a cigarette. First thing, Takasada asks Ittoki how the date went and if he kissed her. Takasada realizes the police officer is faking being dead and is actually helping the ninjas. Soon, the cop gets up and joins his enemy. But Takasada is so fast they can't see him anymore. He gets to Ittoki, says sorry for taking so long, and then comments it's time to work. He puts on a high-tech suit, ready to fight the ninjas. Next, Ittoki wakes up, resting on Kusetsu's legs. He wonders who attacked him, but Takasada tells him to get out of the car because they're here. Ittoki sees a huge staircase. He's told this is his family's home. Everyone is gathered, waiting for the clan leader. Then Yumika appears, surprising Ittoki, but she tells him to call her the clan head. She explains they're a ninja clan from Eiga village. He doesn't believe her, thinking his mom's just a store owner. Yumika says that's just her disguise, hiding her real self. She explains all ninjas do different jobs and hide from society. She also says ninjas have strict rules, avoiding fights with other villages, which has kept things balanced for decades. But recently, Koga village has tried to mess things up. She reveals there are many ninja villages. Koga ninjas use their money and modern fighting as weapons, and they plan to take over Iga. She explains why they were after him. Ittoki is the village's next leader. Everyone bows to him, which just confuses him more. Yumika says she raised him strictly for this very moment. Then she tells him he needs to become a ninja. Ittoki is stunned. He can't believe it's possible, and isn't even sure this ninja story is true. After thinking, he asks why the police don't deal with Koga ninjas, but he's told the Koga clan can easily fool the police. Takasada asks to take him away, basically dragging him out. While smoking, Takasada says he gets how Ittoki feels, but even so, Ittoki has to follow the boss's rules and become a ninja. Ittoki explodes, saying until yesterday, he had a normal life, going to school and studying. He thought he was going to the same school as his friends, and had so many things he wanted to do with them. Right then, Takasada tells him there's a third option, running away. He reveals Yumika asked him to run away with Ittoki if things got bad, so this is his only chance to escape without anyone knowing. Finally, he admits Ittoki's father was the Eiga village head. And when he died, Ittoki became the heir, but since he was still a kid, Yumika took over as chief to protect him. She also says she's not even a ninja, just someone who became the head of some ninjas, just like he is now. So, Ittoki has to make the final call. He starts crying, saying even though he's scared, he can't leave his mother alone. Next, we see the Koga clan talking about getting rid of Iga village. Hausen and Enri, the stand-in chiefs, start arguing loudly about their group's future. Kido Minano listens to their plans and tells them not to fight among themselves, saying they still have time before they kill the rival ninjas. The next day, Ittoki wakes up. Ryo tells him breakfast is soon and they'll explain a plan later. Then Ryo says his school isn't safe and they need to move him. She shows him a video of Japan's only ninja school, saying it's the best choice. Ryo convinces him, but warns the entrance exam is the day after tomorrow. Then Hausen shows up at Ittoki's mom's store, representing the Koga company. He agrees to a food deal. Mitsuzu and Yumika both know it's a good deal, but it clearly puts them at a disadvantage. Mitsuzu says it's unfair and breaks the Ninja World Agreement, but Housen says the Ninja Control Group decided it's not a violation. Finally, Yumika accepts his terms to keep the deal going. Before he leaves, Housen tells her he hopes to make their business stronger. When they get to his car, he tells his son Suzaku to hide his urge to kill, saying a true ninja doesn't show feelings. At dinner, Ittoki tells his mom he's nervous. He can't believe he's going to a ninja academy. Then he asks her about his father, but Yumika avoids the question, just telling him to eat before his food gets cold. The next morning, Takasada and Kusetsu go to the Ninja Academy entrance exams. Ittoki is upset because it's at a gas station which is owned by the enemy village. Takasada assures him ninjas are strictly forbidden to kill there. Ittoki then asks an employee where ninja food is sold. That's the secret code to the test hall. The teacher announces everyone is there, and the tests will begin. The first challenge is a fake ninja test, basically hide and seek between two people. The teacher explains the rules, saying they'll be watched by cameras, and scores are based on how well they hide. Ittoki is startled, seeing Amio's face has the same scary look Satomi had when she attacked him. While Ittoki is taking his test, we see Takasada and Kusetsu in the store, fighting some rivals who plan to attack. Kusetsu calmly tells him there are ninjas in disguise after him, but they can't run, or they'll fail the test and won't get into the academy. Just then, a ninja throws a sharp object at him, but Kusetsu dodges it. She suddenly disappears, explaining to Ittoki that the woman is using Mirage Type 3 camouflage. We find out the attacker is Satomi, wanting revenge for his escape. Kusetsu starts fighting her, using her ninja outfit, but loses sight of Satomi. Satomi approaches Ittoki, but he activates a device that controls fire and water, setting off the fire alarm. This turns off the enemy's camouflage. Before Satomi can reach him, Kusetsu appears and kicks her. Satomi is stopped by the ninja who handles fights between villages. As she's taken away, she yells at Ittoki that she'll still kill him. Because of all that mess, Ittoki gets disqualified from the test. Afterwards, Takasada tells him he needs to hide until the next exam, suggesting a deserted island that's 4 days away by boat. Ittoki gets angry and says he doesn't want to go. Takasada tells him to calm down and enjoy a carefree life. Just then, Takasada gets a call saying Ittoki actually passed the exam. Ittoki is totally confused by this. Then we meet Hayato, who is a captain in the National Ninja Security Measures Committee. He tells his boss that Koga arrested Satomi and 4 other clan members for trying to kill someone. Kido Minobu apologizes for the village, but adds these ninjas had been missing for a month and were thought to be runaways. He thanks Hayato for turning them over, but Hayato warns him that if this happens again, he'll be blamed. As Hayato leaves, he gets a call saying Satomi died in her cell. Ittoki says goodbye to his friends at school, telling them he'll be studying at an academy in Tokyo, but he can't say it's a ninja school. His friends say they'll see him when he gets back, and Ittoki gets emotional. They joke he just has something in his eye. Later, his mom Yumika and the others say goodbye, telling him to study hard and become a great village chief. Then he leaves with Takasada and Kusetsu for Tokyo. The train arrives at a hidden station and they get off. After hours of travel, Ittoki asks Kusetsu when they'll get there, since they've been in a tunnel for ages. Then they pop up to the surface, and Ittoki is surprised to see a beautiful island. They get off the station. Ittoki is happy to see Ryoko Susanoo, so he goes to introduce himself. Ryoko says she's really happy to meet him. Soon after, her friends arrive, and she leaves with them. Kusetsu isn't happy about this though, and she kicks Ittoki. Later, Ittoki looks around the gym, thinking he's gonna have a lot of fun. He goes looking for Kusetsu, but bumps into a group of boys, including Suzaku from the Koga clan. Suddenly, a blonde girl appears and pulls him away. She says it's good to see him again. Ittoki doesn't get it, but it quickly becomes clear those boys had bad intentions, which is why the girl pulled him away. She introduces herself as Kairi Kaisukawa, saying she feared for his life because that group was from Koga village and it's better to avoid them. Ittoki says he's from Iga village, and Kairi is surprised, noting it's one of Japan's most famous villages, even if it's almost gone and in a tough spot. In the end, Kairi shakes his hand and asks to be friends, which Ittoki happily accepts. The academy director welcomes the students, reminding them of 3 basic ninja rules: don't be seen, never kill, and never betray. He asks everyone to respect them and wishes them a good time. Later, in the dining room, Kairi tells Ittoki to pick the worst food on the menu so the Koga won't notice him. They have lots of money and power and get mad if someone eats the same food as them. Ittoki stares at them, and one of them stands up. Kairi bails, saying she has something important to do. Himura yells at Ittoki, "What are you looking at me for?" But Suzaku tells him to chill, reminding him a true ninja doesn't show feelings. Then he says the future Iga chief has no manners. He accuses the Iga clan of killing the Koga village chief, Kishinmaru, saying Kishinmaru was the best ninja ever, super skilled, and a true gentleman who wanted to make other villages stronger. Suzaku gets angry, saying Kishinmaru was too good to die, and promises to make the Iga pay for this crime. Ittoki gets excited seeing the dorm building, thinking it looks better than his own house, but Kairi explains that's the Koga dorm. Then we see the Iga dorm, which looks like an old, abandoned place. Ittoki shouts it looks like a haunted house. Kairi explains boys stay on the second floor and girls on the third. Then she goes to rest in her empty room. Ittoki is surprised when Kusetsu walks in without knocking, just wanting to warn him the Koga are wrongly accusing them. But Ittoki thinks if it's true, someone he knows likely killed Kishinmaru. The next morning, all students gather for their first test. The teacher gives them ninja outfits to wear with a general core. Everyone knows how to use it except Ittoki, who never went to ninja school or had training. Ittoki struggles to put the suit on. The test is to reach the top of the castle where the headmaster is eating cupcakes. To pass, each student needs to bring one back. But the teacher warns them, the headmaster is lazy and might eat them all if they're late. So, the competition starts, and students run fast. But Ittoki can't even move in his costume. The Koga guys say the future Iga head is useless, and doesn't even know how to wear a ninja suit, so it'll be easy to get rid of him and make it look like an accident. But Suzaku tells them not to do anything that makes them look guilty, especially near the principal. After that, Ryoko helps Ittoki with his suit, adjusting it so he can move. He gets nervous as she touches him in many places. Then he feels like he's floating with the gear and can jump from high places without a problem. Ryoko explains this power comes from the suit and the ninja core, which is like its energy and tool. But if the core breaks, the suit loses its strength, so he needs to be careful not to damage it. Ittoki thanks her for teaching him so much. Ryoko says she knows a lot because she's from Shigatsu village, where they've made suits and cores for generations. She adds she came to him because she saw he knew nothing about it. Ittoki stops her, asking her to explain more about the costume. When she finishes, Ryoko says sorry for wasting her time. Next, Suzaku and Kusetsu are racing to the castle. Suzaku kicks her, throwing her under the wall. The director congratulates him for being first. Suzaku then teases Kusetsu, asking if she thinks she can protect her boss fighting like that. As Ittoki and Ryoko run toward the castle, Suzaku speeds toward them. Just as Suzaku jumps to attack Ittoki, Kusetsu appears and hits him. After that, Ittoki and Ryoko keep running as if nothing happened, still wanting to win. Ryo is impressed that Kusetsu used 100% of her suit's power. Later, Ittoki finds Kairi. She was attacked by the Koga, who stole her cupcake. At first she thinks about lying, but then says it was those bandits, who not only stole her prize but also broke her costume's core. Ittoki thinks about telling the teacher, but Kairi says it's no use. The principal said nothing happened unless they're clearly caught. Ittoki tells them to leave him alone and runs towards the bandits to get the cupcake back, but they dodge him, making him hit the wall. They start beating him and he can't defend himself. Himura then kicks his head, saying it's time for him to die. But then the director shows up and stops the fight. He asks Ittoki if he wants to go to the sick room, but Ittoki says no, nothing happened to him. He then gives the cupcake back to Kairi, but she says she can't take it from him. However, he admits he took it from Koga's helpers. Later, we see Himura in front of the teacher, unable to find his cupcake. He remembers Ittoki taking it from him and gets furious, shouting he'll kill Ittoki when he finds him. After that, Suzaku slaps him, telling him clearly not to embarrass them anymore. Then Ittoki arrives, carrying a clearly hurt Kairi on his back. But Ittoki asks Ryoko to carry her to the finish line because he still has something to do in the castle. The two girls say Ittoki is a true gentleman and laugh together. Afterwards, we see the principal only has one cupcake left and decides to eat it since Ittoki took too long to get it. He yells at Ittoki, clearly angry, meaning Ittoki failed the first test. So, later, Ittoki is at the vending machine. The Koga clan starts insulting him. He can't take the shame anymore, so he decides to buy a 300 yen ramen. But he hesitates and ends up buying the ninja food, which doesn't look very good. Kusetsu says he's clearly a coward, but Ittoki says she is too. Neither of them wants to admit buying the 300 yen ramen could cause trouble with the Koga. Kairi and Ryoko ask if they can sit with them. Everyone starts laughing. In the end, they all end up eating the same bad food. Next, we see a Koga clan meeting. They're talking about their old chief's murder. Sure, the killer is from Eiga village. They decide to check on Takasada first. Then we see a woman named Shai, who's late for work at the Ninja Control Building. She just got the Koga chief's death case. Hayato immediately asks what she knows about Takasada. Shai says all she knows is gossip. So Hayato shows her security camera pictures of Takasada and Ittoki being attacked by ninjas, moving so fast the cameras barely caught them. The boss then says for now, They should believe all the rumors about Takasada. Later, in the academy dorm, Ittoki asks Ryoko to teach him everything about ninja tools, since he has an exam in 2 days and knows nothing. Kairi explains there's no need to study. During the test, the tools are for stealing answers. She says the teacher hides the answers the day before, so all they have to do is find them and grab a sheet for everyone. Next, Ryoko starts teaching Ittoki how to use ninja tools. While explaining, she says her father always made it clear since she was a kid that he wouldn't let her be his successor, raising her to be a normal young woman. But she's sure her father means what's best for her. Later, Ittoki asks Kusetsu why they chose him to be village head instead of Takasada. She just replies he should only take orders from him because that's how ninjas are. In another scene, Takasada visits Gantetsu, who makes ninja tools and is Ryoko's father. Gantetsu says no one wants to buy his stuff anymore, so Takasada asks why he doesn't sell to Koga, who used to be his best customers. The inventor explains they offered him a huge project and gave him the plans, but Gantetsu can't say what it is. He says he plans to take the offer, but accepting it will make everyone Koga's slaves. If he refuses, Shigatsu village will go broke. Gantetsu mentions his daughter Ryoko, saying he loves her too much to have her inherit his job, preferring her to be happy in the normal world rather than suffer. Back at school, the boys are planning to steal the answers, joined by 2 students who like Ittoki because he protected his classmates during the cupcake test. At night, they sneak into the school's main office hallways. Ryoko gives Ittoki a drone to watch from afar, and he records the safe. But when he returns, the device makes a noise, knocking on the door. The teacher notices and backs off. However, Akira throws a smoke bomb to distract the teacher so they can search for answers inside the office. Meanwhile, Takasada is about to sneak into the Koga base, using a drone to cover the security camera. He's running full speed with Chine hiding in the bushes behind him, watching his every move. She's supposed to spy on him as he's the main suspect in the Koga leader's death. Seeing what he's doing, she starts to think Takasada is crazy, since it's super dangerous to sneak into this place. Back with Ittoki and his friends, they keep going with their plan, but the Koga surprise them. They manage to open the safe, but Akira is fighting Ranmira and his helpers. Meanwhile, Takasada gets into the factory president's office, trying to find plans for something, but only finds money. He realizes Chine is following him, so he sets a trap for her, which makes the guards find her. The next day, Chine apologizes to her boss, saying she messed up and lost Takasada, so she got no info. He tells her to keep going with the mission, but not to talk about it again. He then asks what she thought of the Koga factory. She says it seemed too guarded for a regular cupcake factory. He wants to know if there's any sign of what's being made there, but she's not sure. Later, the teacher gives students their tests. To their surprise, the answers aren't the same as the ones they stole. We then learn the Koga got to the vault first the day before and changed the questions. Because of this, Ryoko was the only one on the team who got the test right, since she knows a lot about ninja tools. At the Koga factory, the president is furious. Someone pretended to be him and asked them to buy 10 Getsu ninja dolls, demanding immediate payment. We find out Takasada did this so Gantetsu, Ryoko's father, could get back on his feet financially. So Gantetsu is excited, knowing there was a mistake in the order, but he can't cancel it, and neither can the Koga. Later, in the village, Takasada shares some info. The Koga are planning to steal Iga's idea to build the most powerful suit. Back at school, students are cleaning. Kusetsu tells Ittoki someone in their group is a traitor, leaking info to the Koga clan. She says there's no way Koga would have known where their safe was. Hearing this, Ittoki starts thinking, suspicious of all his friends. After that, we see the Fuma clan leader demanding Kairi stay a traitor, no matter what, saying she must lie and cheat to win. Ittoki invites all his friends to vacation for a few days in Ega village. His mom welcomes everyone, but then she turns to Ryoko, looking sad about what happened. Later we see Takasada, with Ryoko's father outside his workshop. Sadly, the Koga burned his workshop and destroyed everything. But even though they did it, he still has to accept their order to build a better suit and a more powerful core. Gantetsu is more worried about where his daughter is, so Takasada suggests taking her to the village for a few days, since Ega welcomes anyone who needs a home. Back in IGA village, everyone is excited to see the place. Ittoki asks them to relax while he's gone since it's his father's death anniversary and he has things to do. Right then we see Kairi touring the house. We find out she has a hidden weapon and talks to Suzaku through a messenger bird. Her message says she got into Aiga's house and the security is very high. Later, at the ninja control office, Shai tells the board they should stop investigating Iga and start looking into Koga instead. She says Koga is using Kinchimaru's dead body to create something new. She adds there's a rumor the Koga are planning a big attack on Ega, but the chief says the info hasn't been checked and would just cause confusion, so they should keep investigating Takasada. Meanwhile, Ittoki and his mom are at the cemetery. He tells her the school principal told him about his father. Yumika gets sad, saying his father always welcomed ninjas who'd left their villages, even rogue ones. She tells him that on the day his father died, they were on a mission with Takasada. She also adds that as chief, she sent her ninjas on much riskier missions, but she has to be strong and accept the burden, because everyone's lives are in her hands as clan leader. Later, Ittoki and the girls go to a market to shop. He finds out everyone working there is a ninja, which he never knew. They're all super happy he joined the academy. Ittoki is surprised, as he'd been to this market countless times, but never guessed they were all hidden ninjas. After that, they go fishing in the river. The boys blush seeing the girls in their swimsuits, then everyone starts catching lots of fish in different ways. Kairi then feels sad, just like her fishing method. She feels like a small fish because she's a fake and has no village of her own. She says this is why her clan is at the bottom of society. She remembers her childhood, where her father forced her to lie and cheat, always telling her it was the only way for the Fuma clan to survive. So, over the years, her goal in life became to trick and pretend to be someone else to gain advantages. Back to now, Ittoki listens closely to Kairi. When she finishes, Ittoki says she's a really good person, and he'll never forget the first day of school when he was super nervous until Kairi came up and asked to be friends. She's really touched by this. They return to the mansion with a bucket full of fish. Ittoki asks what they'll do with all the food. Ryoko says all the village ninjas will gather today to remember the chief's death anniversary. Then everyone starts getting ready for the party. Takasada then approaches Ittoki while they're eating fish. He tells him Kotetsu was abandoned by her parents, but Yumika took her in and cared for her, so from that day on, Kotetsu would do anything for her chief. After that, Takasada takes food to Chennai, who is still clearly watching him. She awkwardly asks if he's really that good. Chennai asks if they really killed Kishimaru, but he tells her not to ask that and just do her job, saying she's the one who should decide if he's really good enough to kill a stronger ninja. Unable to answer, she starts enjoying the fish. Later, everyone has a great time at dinner. After that, they all start talking and joking. Then Ittoki goes to his mom and asks if his father's dream was always to protect the village, because he doesn't feel ready to take over his dad's place yet. But she tells him he can relax. Iga Village is wonderful, and he has a long way to go before becoming the true leader. The moment she says this, she gets cursed, and will likely die later. Yumika takes him to a room to tell him something urgent. Meanwhile, Gentetsu thanks Ryoko and Kairi, because Ittoki told him his friends are very important, and he's having a lot of fun at the academy thanks to them. We can see Kairi feels bad about stealing and passing info to the Koga, but after that she sends another message to Suzaku saying there's nothing to report because Iga Village is peaceful. Now, Yumika tells Ittoki the family core secret, saying only clan leaders know it, and the whole secret will be revealed to him when he becomes leader. The next day, Ittoki is impatient, wanting to know when he'll become a ninja, but then Mitsuzu appears, telling him that television is announcing the Ninja Academy is closing. Mitsuzu says this is a hidden announcement for the Great Ninja Gathering, a party ordered by the head of the control group. It brings together the most important ninjas, and the future of all ninjas in Japan will be decided there. We also learn this gathering hasn't happened in over 70 years, and right then, we see how each clan member heard the news. Back at the Eiga mansion, the new folks are confused, not understanding what's happening since they've never heard of such a big event. At the same time, Mitsuzu, Ittoki, Takasada, and Yumika get ready to leave. Ittoki asks his mom if the future leader should go to the meeting. Yumika replies that kid's job is to study, so he shouldn't skip his studies just for a long holiday. Finally, Ittoki says goodbye to his mom, wishing her luck on her trip. Later, the IGA arrive at the committee, along with representatives from all over the country. The air quickly gets tense among the clan leaders, but Hayato asks everyone to keep order. He then calls for a grand ninja meeting, but they notice one representative is missing. They're told that village has been completely taken over by the Koga, and their factory strip now belongs to the Koga company. They also add that the Fuma clan is now part of the Koga. Hayato stops the chatter and talks about the main point. He says the Koga have tricked other ninja villages, taking them over. In another room, Chene and her coworkers are shocked because their boss is already secretly checking on the Koga. They figure Hayato hid this info because he feared spies in the group. The chief then asks all reps to report if their villages have been invaded. Depending on what they say, this could lead to the Koga chief's arrest. Chene and the others realize this was Hayato's plan. With all the clan leaders gathered, it'll be harder for Koga to fight back. But his plan seems to go wrong as everyone starts blaming Iga Village. Yumika defends herself, saying they had no reason to do this crime. Everyone says Eiga started a war and killed Kishimaru. Yumika says these are false accusations and there's no proof against them. Yumika then says they were looking into the Koga and found many strange things they've been doing. Mitsuzu gives her an envelope with photos clearly showing the clan testing a new tool, but also that they're after a secret ninja core. Finally, it's explained the Koga plan to invade them, claiming it's for their chief's murder. Salmon then gets brave and tells him his clan was targeted by the Koga invasion. He shouts they no longer have the strength to fight back, regretting not speaking up sooner because his leader grandmother got sad and took her own life. Then IKU says he's in charge of feeding everyone in his village, but everything's gotten harder because of the Koga. Then more leaders say the Koga are to blame for this meeting happening now. Other leaders also stand up to say the Koga attacked them, so more and more leaders decide the Koga are at fault. But just as they're taking the Koga leader away, a man named Genji appears. He's a captain from the Ninja Control Group's 2nd Division. He announces he has proof of Kishimaru's murder. They're shown a security camera video of someone stabbing the former Koga leader. You can also hear the sound of a ninja core. Genji explains that the sound made by these suits is unique to each village, and they've decided the sound belongs to Eiga village. Genji then asks Yumika to come with them to court, but Takasada stands in front of him, hiding a knife. The IGA head says there's nothing to fear since they didn't commit such a crime. Before leaving, Yumika asks Takasada to tell Ittoki she's leaving the village in his hands. After that, the Great Ninja meeting ends. Later, Mitsuzu tells him the news. Yumika has been arrested, but to calm him, he says they've done nothing wrong and are innocent, so she should be released soon. Then Kotetsu approaches Takasada and asks him to come up with a plan to save her. Takasada clearly tells Ittoki the message. The village is in his hands now. Ittoki then orders everyone in the clan to gather. Meanwhile, we see Henri declaring war on the enemy clan, saying his enemies must be totally wiped out. Later, we see Hayato in the control room, watching Kishimaru's death video. But right then, Genji walks in a ninja outfit and stabs him in the back. Hayato finally realizes Genji was the spy all along. The next day, Ittoki is made the true village leader. He's ready for the job, but says he'll only lead until he can get his mom back. Later, we see Yumika in a cell. Genji appears, saying he's taken Hayato's spot and she'll be sentenced to death. After this, we see Kido. He reveals he's been sick since birth, so his body was rebuilt to make him Koga's leader. All he remembers since then is the pain of the experiments done to him, which were pointless. He only remembers waking up in great pain, wishing he'd never been born a ninja, or even that ninjas didn't exist at all. Later, he's let out of prison, and Genji apologizes for keeping him locked up. It seems Kido is calling on the Koga clan to start their android plan. So, there's an urgent meeting of the Ninja Control Group. They say 72 hours have passed since Hayato disappeared, so Genji will become chief. Shin stops everyone, saying her chief is on a solo mission and his disappearance isn't a reason for quick decisions. Genji says a second team will be sent to find Hayato, and reveals Kido will be released due to no proof. Genji then says Yumika will be sentenced to death for trying to kill the Koga clan leader. To end the meeting, Shin is promoted to captain of the group's first team. Later, she meets her team to share her doubts about Genji's promotion, wondering why Koga is treated differently from Eiga. She also finds it suspicious that she, a new person, was promoted to captain, so she suggests finding Hayato to clear everything up. Meanwhile, Kido and Genji head to the Eiga clan chief's office to offer a deal for her freedom. Before they can say anything, Yumika realizes they want the secret of the clan's endless energy armor. But she refuses, saying if this info falls into the wrong hands, humanity is at risk. Genji warns her she has until tomorrow to decide if she wants to die. Ittoki and the girls meet at Clan HQ, hoping he'll be a good leader. Suddenly, Takasada appears, asking Ittoki and Kotetsu to an urgent meeting where they learn Yumika will be killed tomorrow. One clan member suggests a rescue mission against the Ninja Control Group, but Mitsuzu says that would mean fighting all clans. So Takasada suggests he be kicked out of the clan so he can save the chief without dragging them into war, but Ryo says no one would believe he was kicked out, and it would just look like an attack on the village. Kotetsu immediately attacks Ittoki, demanding to be kicked out so she can go with Takasada on the rescue mission. Since she has no family ties to the clan, this is the only way she can repay Yumika for taking her in as a child. Finally, Ittoki reacts and gives his first order as IGA chief. He trusts Takasada and Kotetsu with his mother's rescue. Time is running out, so they have no choice but to use force but must avoid hurting anyone badly. The rest of the clan must gather proof of their innocence. After the meeting, we see Ryo outside, listening to everything. Meanwhile, Housen, Henri, and Kido meet to call an unusual clan meeting. When they hear Suzaku arrived at HQ, he tells them he has a spy in Eiga village. The spy said Ittoki is planning to rescue Yumika, so Suzaku thinks it's the perfect time to attack the Eiga clan. He eventually says he wants to be part of the attack team, and Kido accepts since Suzaku has shown great ninja skill lately. His father immediately tries to convince him not to go, saying he's just a kid. But Suzaku doesn't listen and decides to join, saying he'll make his own decisions now and there's no turning back because he'd look like a coward if he ran away. His father can do nothing but let Suzaku do what's needed for the clan's good. Later, the Koga clan has a meeting to allow the attack on Ryo village, but Housen and some others are against it. Suddenly, Kido shoots him, making it clear there's no room for cowards in his village. After this, disaster announcements are broadcast all over the city, telling people to stay indoors. Mitsuzu realizes this is a Koga plan to hide their attack on Ryo. Then we see the enemy approaching the village with trucks full of robots, plus many ninjas ready to invade. We then find out the Ryo clan has advanced tech to fight them, but many robots survive the cannon blast, so the Ryo clan's protector has to die like a ninja, destroying a big part of the enemy force. Everyone mourns this loss, but since it's war they must keep attacking. At the same time, two young men holding hands approach the prison where Yumika is held. A guard steps in to stop them, but it's revealed to be Otto and Takasada, who easily escape security to free the clan leader. As they're about to run, Genji stops them, saying they're arrested for breaking the law. Back with Ittoki and his team in the control tower, they watch the robot battle, but they're losing to Koga, as more battle machines keep coming and their ninja forces are running low. Ryoko offers to check the robots, asking a ninja to bring one to the control tower. She finds out the machine's weak point is their energy. They can't last more than an hour without recharging. Mitsuzu then tells her an android was following him, but retreated without doing anything, proving the android's weakness is energy, and Koga's target is Aiga's endless energy supply, which is why they're attacking. Ittoki figures the main gate attack was a distraction to bring energy sources into the village so the robots could recharge and return to battle. Ryoko asks Ryo to check other streets where the recharged trucks might have entered. After that, Ittoki suggests sending a small team to destroy the energy source. But Mitsuzu is against it, saying splitting the team will break their defense line and enemies will invade. Right then, Ryoko joins the mission, feeling it's her job to fix things since her clan invented these robots. Amidst the boys' chaos, Krei makes it clear she'll wait for them at the base. Ittoki and Ryoko then head to storage to get ready for battle. Krei considers telling the Koga clan, but regrets it and stays quiet. Meanwhile, Chine and her team stop some suspicious men. They realize these are Koga clan helpers ready to make Hayato's body disappear. Later, they stop Genji, who was fighting Takasada. Genji demands Chine and Takasada be arrested, but she accuses him of helping Koga with Hayato's murder. She tells her team to arrest Genji, but he refuses to work with them, accusing her of being linked to the Eiga clan. This makes Chine furious. The last thing she wants is to be called a traitor. Suddenly, Takasada makes a quick move that knocks Genji out, letting the Eiga clan escape. Finally, Kotetsu and Yumika reach the secret village entrance, realizing an invasion is happening, so they quickly rush to help. After this, Ryoko and Ittoki are watching the enemy, but there are too many to fight. Ryoko suggests getting more help, but Ittoki knows he has no time and wants to attack now since their guard is down. Luckily, she already had a plan, knowing he'd say something like that. She explains she has a device that keeps the robots' signals together, and using her knowledge, she'll freeze the robots for 10 seconds, giving him a chance to destroy the power source with explosives. They immediately do the plan, but Suzaku, who is patrolling, stops them. Suddenly, one of the robots holding Ittoki takes the explosives from him. We realize the robot's intention is to destroy the energy source. The explosive goes off, and all the robots fall down. After the shock, Ittoki and Ryoko realize the robot that helped them was Kairi, so they take her to a safe place. After that, Shai goes to Genji's cell, hoping he'll admit his crimes, but he stays silent until his lawyer arrives. He immediately promises revenge on everyone and starts using a trick vision technique. Back in Eiga village, after celebrating their win, Kotetsu and Yumika arrive at the mansion, but Kotetsu starts losing control and grabs Yumika, trying to get info on the endless energy source. However, Yumika reveals nothing and ends up being killed by Kotetsu. After that, we see several ninja robots causing huge destruction in the city and taking over many villages. At the same time, Ittoki is heartbroken by his mother's death. Ryo then tells him he should officially be named village chief. She also adds they're trying to get Kotetsu to talk, but she won't say a word, so they need to decide her punishment soon. Ittoki looks at the bloodstain where his mother was, and memories of the day before come to his mind. Later, someone warns Suzaku not to go back to Koga, because Kido is out of control and says he'll kill anyone who doesn't follow his orders. Suzaku asks why his father was killed, and the informant tells him Housen didn't agree with Kido's plan, which is why he died. For a moment, Suzaku thinks his father deserved it for not obeying orders. But the informant says Housen wasn't a coward, and only wanted what was best for the village, and a better future for his son. Before leaving, the man asks Suzaku to take care of himself so the same thing that happened to his father doesn't happen to him. Later, during the naming ceremony for the new Eiga village chief, Ittoki misses his mother deeply, but there's nothing he can do. Everyone is furious about Yumika's death and wants revenge on Koga. However, Ittoki just asks them to wait until his mother's funeral is over. Later, Ryoko and Kairi have to go home. Ryoko asks Kairi if she wants to go to Yumika's funeral, and Kairi says it would be an honor, but she's sad, not thinking she can make it. After they say goodbye, Takasada appears and asks Ittoki to go see Kotetsu. When he enters, he's surprised to see her tied up. Kusetsu explains that if they don't keep her tied, she'll try to kill herself. She tells him that the day before, a bell rang in her head and her memories are now broken. She breaks down, revealing she woke up covered in blood, and asks Ittoki to kill her right away since there's no reason to live. Takasada steps in, explaining he knows what happened. The Koga tricked her by putting a chip in her, just like Satomi. He also mentions Kido did the same with all the women he had, creating spies who don't know they're controlled. Finally, Takasada reveals to Kotetsu that she is Kido's daughter. Kotetsu screams, asking why they didn't kill her if they already knew. Takasada replies Yumika wouldn't have allowed it. Then we see a flashback where Takasada tells Yumika the truth, but despite knowing Kotetsu is her enemy's descendant, Yumika decided to care for her like her own daughter. Back in the present, Ittoki begs for Kotetsu to be released, saying she's innocent. Takasada then says he taught her ninja skills and knows she'd never do something like that. He also says Kotetsu tried to attack Yumika, but failed. Hearing this, Ittoki hugs Kotetsu, understanding she wasn't to blame. However, Takasada adds, there's another traitor among them. The next moment, we see Kido looking satisfied. After so long, he finally pulled off his plan perfectly. He never thought his daughter, Kotetsu, would finish the mission, since he thought she was a flawed product. Now, he feels much more confident because his rival is just a child. After this, Kairi goes back to her village and tells her father she finished spying on Ega. All that's left is to give the report to Koga, but then she finds out it's a trap. The robots were made to kill her. Her father tells her the only way to survive is to trick everyone, so he gets ready to kill her with a knife. But it's just a trick, and her father opens a floor hatch for Kairi to escape. While she runs, a bomb goes off to destroy the robots, and her father shouts that the village will always be active and will live on. After this, Ryoko visits her father in the hospital and sees he's missing a hand. He admits he didn't want her to know, but Koga treated him badly, and did this just for him complaining. He says their village won't be able to make tools anymore. Sad, Ryoko starts crying in her father's arms, not knowing what to do. After this, Ittoki is alone in front of Yumika's remains. After the funeral, Suzaku appears and bows before the coffin, but then calls Ittoki a coward. Ittoki quickly pushes Suzaku down, pinning him. Ittoki asks him to understand his pain in this tough time. Suzaku replies that Kido will do everything to destroy IGA. Suzaku then reveals his father was against invading villages, and that's why he was killed. He adds his father always worked for the clan's good, and wasn't wrong. Ittoki then asks why Suzaku keeps fighting for the people who killed his father. Suzaku throws Ittoki away and admits this is all he has left. After this, Suzaku gets home and looks at a photo of his father. He notices an SD card hidden behind the frame. He plugs it into the computer and watches the real video of Kishimaru's death. In the video, Kishimaru argues with Kido about the group's future. Kishimaru doesn't agree they should take over all villages and asks Kido to cancel the invasion plan right away. Kido replies Kishimaru would never understand him since he was born with talent, and everyone loved him, while Kido only had pain and suffering. Kishimaru feels bad for his brother, but at that moment a ninja stabs him in the back. Seeing this, Suzaku is shocked because everything he thought was true just fell apart. The next day, Mitsuzu tells Ittoki he got a letter from Kido, demanding they deliver the ninja core to his village. Mitsuzu and the others insist they'll be killed if they don't, but Ittoki asks for more time to think. Later, in front of Yumika's altar, Ittoki asks her if she ever thought about a normal life. He says he didn't even believe ninjas existed at first, and he doesn't like how ninjas live now, but he won't run away or leave the position Yumika left him. He finally apologizes and decides he'll do things his own way, asking Takasada for help. After this, Ittoki gathers all the ninjas and says he'll give the core to Koga, but only if they let them live in peace. No one thinks this is right, and they start yelling it's stupid and they should go to war, but he says this is his final decision and he won't let anyone change his mind. Next, we see Kido doesn't plan to sign the peace deal. He only agreed temporarily to avoid trouble with the ninja control group. His main goal is to take Aiga's secret core before attacking them again. Later, Kairi goes to the Shigatsu factory and finds everything destroyed. She goes to the basement and finds Ryoko working non-stop. Ryoko apologizes for not welcoming her, saying she can't stop working. She suddenly starts crying because she's the only one in the village who can make and fix ninja tools, but she feels she's not strong enough to rebuild the workshop alone. Kairi then tells her father has died, but she's not sad because she hated him. He taught her that for a weak village to live, they had to trick and betray everyone. In the end, the Koga betrayed them, which is why Kairi was able to stop spying for Koga. Suddenly, Kairi admits Yumika's death was her fault because she warned them Takasada wasn't there. Kairi starts crying, feeling like she betrayed everyone, but Ryoko says she's still a very special friend because the time they spent together was real, just like her tears. Meanwhile, Suzaku calls Kido saying she found the video of what really happened that day and wants to deliver it personally as a sign of loyalty. Next, Mitsuzu and the others tell Ittoki they won't sign the peace deal with Koga and ask him to quit as chief. But he refuses, so Mitsuzu says they need to get ready for war. Later, Kairi goes to apologize to Ittoki for lying and betraying him. However, Takasada receives her, telling her he already knew she was secretly working for them. Takasada says even though it was her mistake, she's not to blame for Yumika's death because the real traitor is someone else inside the mansion. And to make up for it, Kairi did great by blowing up a Koga base. He finally tells her he won't give her apology message yet, since Ittoki is too busy with village business. Later, we see the Ega ninjas planning to capture Ittoki and get the secret core. They enter the house, and Mitsuzu discovers Ryo is out of place. He attacks her, saying he never thought she was the traitor. But suddenly, a flashback shows Ittoki telling Mitsuzu that Kotetsu didn't kill his mother, and there's a traitor in Ega. He asks Mitsuzu to help reveal the traitor, choosing him because he's the most loyal and trustworthy person in the clan. Back in the present, Mitsuzu has Ryo stopped. He asks if she knows about all the blood spilled because of her. Ryo finally says Yumika took her husband without caring about what would happen. That's why she trusted Kido, who promised to save her husband. Ryo then says she can't bear a life of pain and swallows a poison capsule. After this, we see the letter Ryo left for the ninjas, apologizing for tricking them, saying he only wanted to find the traitor. In a similar scene, Takasada goes to Suzaku's house to investigate his father, but Suzaku is waiting for him. He gives Takasada the memory card with the video of Kaoru's murder and only asks him not to get in his way. At the same time, Ittoki plans to sneak into Koga's HQ to propose something to Kido. Takasada says no, because the place will be too guarded, but Ittoki says he plans to use the secret core to get in, so he puts on the suit and heads towards Koga's village. Meanwhile, Mitsuzu and the other ninjas are regretting judging Ittoki, but they're determined to defend the village and fight hard. After that, they arrive at Koga's HQ with Takasada and Kotetsu. Ittoki doesn't want them to risk their lives too, but they refuse to back down. In a flashback, we see Ittoki comforting Kotetsu, saying his mother's wish was to see what her children would become when they grew up. Then Takasada gives her an electric device that destroys the chip in her brain. Back in the present, Kotetsu thanks Ittoki for pulling her out of her sadness. Later, they enter the building and ask to speak to Kido right away, but they're surrounded by an army of robot ninjas. Enri and Kido think they were stupid to come in. But suddenly, Kairi and Ryoko appear to fight with them. Ryoko throws an explosive that stops the robots for 2 minutes. Kairi approaches Ittoki and awkwardly says she came to make up for her sins because despite everything she did, she still wants to be his friend. Seeing she's finally telling the truth, Ittoki is happy and accepts her apology. So, Ryoko and Kairi stay behind so Ittoki can move toward Kido. On the way, they run into Koga ninjas who activate some robots. Ittoki asks Kotetsu and Takasada to stay back while he destroys the robots with the secret core. But this makes him tired because even though he moves faster, his energy is still like a normal human's. The enemy realizes this and tries to grab him, but Kotetsu gets in the way, making a smoke barrier to help them escape. However, Suzaku stops them, but then decides to help them, facing his old friends. After this, Kotetsu and Ittoki arrive at Kido's office, where he's waiting. Ittoki tries to make a deal, offering the core for peace. He asks Kido about his plan to wipe out ninjas, and without a clear answer, Ittoki thinks Kido wants to be the last ninja to change the system. Ittoki says if that's the case, he'll spare him. But Kido says he wants to get rid of all ninjas because he hates his own existence. He dares Ittoki to kill him, but Kotetsu tells him not to. Right then it's revealed this was all a plan to make Kido admit his crimes, and everything he said was recorded. In a flashback, Ittoki explains his plan to Shinny, asking the ninja control group not to interfere. Back in the present, Shinny orders Kido's capture. Kido reacts by attacking Ittoki and Kotetsu. Ittoki says he'll keep protecting the next generation of ninjas, just like his mom. He and Kotetsu attack Kido, damaging his armor and making him lose control. Kido calls him a coward and tries to grab a weapon, but Takasada appears and stabs him with a metal bar, killing him the same way Kido killed his brother. Before leaving, Takasada takes responsibility for Kido's death and asks Kotetsu to smile sometimes. After that, Chenny orders Takasada to be hunted down for the Koga HQ attack and Kido's death. She screams she won't let him escape, but in the background we can see she clearly enjoys spending time with him. As they leave the building, Ittoki asks Kotetsu what she'll do now. The girl replies she doesn't know yet, but she's sure she can do whatever she wants. Several years later, Shanae is still looking for Takasada, but deep down, she hopes he's well and in a good place. We also see Ryoko working in her father's workshop. He managed to get her a fake arm. Later, we're shown Kairi became an actress, and when asked why, she answers she became an actress because she's a great liar. Plus, Suzaku has become the head of the Koga clan, leading the village as Kenimaru would have wanted. Finally, we see Kotetsu about to start a journey, but first, she stops by Yumika's grave to say goodbye. She says today will be her first day of work, but knowing him, she'll definitely quit on the second day. As she says this, we see Ittoki in the subway. He saves a boy who's about to fall onto the tracks, and everyone around him stares, amazed at his skill. The boy asks if he's a ninja, and Ittoki feels a little good about it, but he says ninjas don't exist and tells the boy not to believe everything he sees. And that's how the anime Shinobi no Ittoki ends.